of fun with it, and that's how I got through my journey, because I had to kind of make it an adventure for my kids.
Yeah.
To keep them in it,
take the
but not be
out.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, to take the fear out of it, right.
Because they were really, really scared. I mean, I know you were scared that, what if I didn't make it? That is a thought that goes through your mind. I know. My mother had died 6 months before I was diagnosed. And as soon as I was diagnosed, I thought, oh, my gosh, now it's my turn. And, it's not a pretty death. It's not. But we're still here. And I didn't have to tell, children. So for those in the audience who are listening, and you do have children, what is the one tip you might give them if they are ever faced with maybe telling the children about their grandmother or an aunt or somebody else? What is a good tip to help them deal with this and not lose it like your daughter did?
Well, I think the important thing is, and I've learned along my journey, is to be honest, but be veiled honest, if that makes sense. Have a level of honesty, but you still have to protect them from what's to come. I told my kids that, I was not going to be feeling well, and that's what people need. You need to tell people that you can't have the cancer and then hide it from your kids. Kids are so perceptive, and they're also very resilient. And, to this day, I will say this, my kids have learned so much about being compassionate towards others by witnessing my journey and the people that I was surrounding myself with when I was going through it. And I've heard them talk to kids whose parents have cancer, and they just say to them, I've heard my son say this to a kid, you just have to be strong for your mom and do what she asks and not get in trouble. I thought that was kind of funny. Don't get in trouble, and be helpful and help her. And that's something that, not a lot of kids say about their parents, help your mom, right? So
yeah, that shows depth.
Yeah, they learned a lot from it, but my advice to anybody who's facing that is, you have to be honest, because you can't hide it. You can hide a lot of, like, my kids never saw me very sick from chemo because I scheduled their dad had them, every few days. So I scheduled my chemotherapy so they didn't see me sick. That's one thing I would say. Don't let your kids see you be sick, because unless you have to, but that would be scary to my kids. I knew that would be scary. So my kids to this day have said to me, Mom, we didn't know really how bad it was for you. Because I hid the bad part, but I was honest about my journey. If that even makes sense. I don't know if that even makes sense.
No, it does. It makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if I told the audience, but at the time that you were diagnosed, you were a single parent. I mean, you're talking about their father,
newly divorced.
But at that time you were by yourself.
Yes, I was newly divorced. It was a really trying time. And, I write about this a lot in my book, and I tell, patients, I have a foundation that helps cancer patients, and I tell patients all the time, no matter where you are, there you go. There you are. And it's the same thing. And it's the same thing with your cancer, because you can be in a room full of people and you're still alone with it. I could be in a room with 50 people, have cancer, and say, you know what, I've got cancer, and I'm thinking it in my mind, and there's a whole bunch of people near me. So it was difficult to deal with it by myself, but I will tell you, I have the most amazing world-class friends on the planet who just rallied for me. And that's, it's all about your friends, and you find out, like you and I talked about a while ago, you find out really who your friends are when you're going through a tough time,
Yeah.
So
they're the ones that show up.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, you talk about how, you were amazed and touched by the kindness of others when you found out that you had this breast cancer, and you had to go basically through it as a single parent. People you'd never even met sent you cards with inspiring words, and then you got fruit baskets, and meals were sent to your home, and friends came to your rescue by picking your kids up from school, and even assisting them with their homework when you were too sick to get out of bed. So when I've interviewed other people who've gone through cancer treatment, one of the things they've all said is they were amazed that the people that they thought would really be there for them, not so much. But the people they never really thought would be there were there for them 110%. Did you find that as well?
That is absolutely true. In fact, one of my greatest friends right now, the one who convinced me to put my journal into a book, lives in my neighborhood, drove by my house. Our kids are the same age, and her name's Renee. She's wonderful, and she said to me, hey, I know you're going through something. If you need anything, let me know. And it's hard to ask people for help. I'm one of those people that does for people, and it was really super hard for me to accept help from people because I felt weak doing that, but people wanted to help. So she said, can I take you to any of your appointments, because she was a stay-at-home mom at the time? And I just said, you know what? I have one tomorrow. Do you want to take me to the oncologist? And I got in my house, I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, I hardly know her. I know her a little bit, but I didn't know her well. And we became like soul sisters. She took me to I've had 13 breast cancer-related surgeries. She's probably taken me to 8 of them, and sat by my side and, laughed with the anesthesiologist. And, she's gone on this journey with me. And she was somebody that I didn't think I would have become such great friends with. She's lovely, and I didn't know her well. But that's the kind of people, that came out of the woodwork and were wonderful to me. And then I had a neighbor across the street who always did stuff with my kids, and then when I had cancer, just disappeared. Never said, hey, let me take the kids for the day, why don't you rest, none of that. So it was surprising to me. So you're right. The people that you think will step up don't.
And I think, I think that the reason some of the people just disappear is
They're
because
afraid.
Cancer scares them so badly that it overwhelms them and it becomes their master. And they would love to help, and I know that they think about that person who is going through treatment a lot, but they just can't bring themselves to do it. And maybe, they've missed out on a learning experience, a really important learning experience. But the bottom line is God always sends you who you need. He doesn't always send you who you want. So you embrace the ones He does send, and you just let the others go with love. They're still learning. They're still, finding out about how to be there for someone who is in need. So, Connie, you took and you tell us, we only have like 1 minute before we have to go to break at 21 past, but you took your blogs, and that's what you turned into a book, or it wasn't really blogs, although they kind of read as them because they do have an introduction and a body and an ending to them. They're really good. So basically, you took your journal and the blogs in this journal and you turned them into your book. Is this something you would recommend to anybody else who might be going through some kind of a stressful situation?
Well, I definitely recommend 2 things. One is that you always journal about how you're doing. Because it's amazing to look back on where you've come from. And that was what was really, eye-opening for me when I was done with my journey, to really look back and see those difficult times I had when I was crying out my hair. And I didn't talk about that in my journal online because I always did. It was the snarky side of me, the comical side of the story that I told in my journal. And when I went back to write my book, I wrote around it and talked about the real hardship I was facing. But it made me realize when I was writing my book and looking back how far I had come. So that's one piece of advice I give to cancer patients. The other is to always keep a gratitude journal. I think it's so important to live a life of gratitude. And when you live a life of gratitude, it changes your attitude. And if you take every night the 3 top things you were grateful for that day and write them down, you'll be amazed at the transformation in your gratitude over the course of, a week, a month, a year. One of the things I laugh about is one day in my gratitude journal while I was going through my treatment.
Hold on, Connie. Hold on to that thought because we're going to talk about it when we come back. Okay, so don't go away, everybody. We're going to talk about that gratitude as soon as we get back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
What happens when we begin to realize that the 200-year experiment we've called the American healthcare system has failed? Learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness on Awakened Wellness with Milen Riobe, MD. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern Time with live shows on the first and third mornings when you can call in and ask Dr. Milen the questions that matter most to you. Dr. Milen is the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jupiter, Florida. For more information, visit riobeintegrativemedicine.com. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you in for this dynamic, forward-thinking show.
Looking for a fun and relaxing getaway? Omega Rest and Rejuvenation Retreats are a great way to unwind and renew your spirit. You can stretch your body, quiet your mind, and do as much or as little as you choose. Join us in May and we'll waive the daily fees. Located in Rhinebeck, in New York's beautiful Hudson Valley, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. That's 877-944-2002.
Welcome back to Dreaming Healing on DreamVision7Radio.com. This is a live show, and I'm your host, Kat Canavas, co-author of the #1 bestseller and now a Nautilus Book Award winner, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. You can find the book everywhere in all bookstores, or you can go onto my website, KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com, or you can just type in The Queen of Dreams into Google search, and my website will come up. If you order the book and love the book, please leave us a review on Amazon. And if you have any questions or dreams to share online with us today, call 833-220-1200 now. So, Connie, we were talking about gratitude just before the commercial. Let's pick that up again. What would you tell our audience to do if they wanted to keep a gratitude journal?
So every night before you go to bed, write down 3 things that you were grateful for that day. And I remember on my worst day ever from having my cancer treatment, my top 3 things were 1, woke up, 2, didn't throw up all day, and 3, had cereal for my kids. And it can be that simple. You know, but if you write down things that you're grateful for in your life, living a life of gratitude just really helps you be in a more positive mindset.
Mhm. That's great advice. And I think another thing, I remember I kept a similar journal. It wasn't necessarily, a gratitude journal, but I do remember going back and reading the beginning of the journal when I started to write my first book. And I didn't realize how far I had come emotionally and also healing physically until I went back and looked at that journal and saw where I was then and where I was now as I was reading it and looking back. And that's really amazing. You look at it and you go, oh my gosh, did I really write that? I sound like I'm dying. And
exactly, yeah.
And you've come through that dark tunnel. And you're on the other side looking back, and it is truly an amazing journey. So, Connie, you held your first Get Your Rack Back event as a way to thank your friends and your family for being there for you and your children through your cancer journey, and that was back in May 19th, 2012. Tell us about that first event, and are you still holding these events?
I am. I started that event just to have, again, like you said, for my family and friends and thank them, like a book launch party. And because I'm in business with what I do for my living, I, turned it into a fundraiser. And I had partnered with a local cancer organization to provide them with the funds. And I had made